Good morning, everyone. It's Rob Thomas with Frederick Fox, and I'm making a 10 video series, and I'm covering lots of questions that you, as a leader, can add to your strategy so that you can be more strategic to find that candidate that you can't live without. Um, and so, I've been doing this now for 10 years, and it's gone really fast, and I've learned a lot. One of the questions that I've never been asked that I think would just be absolutely brilliant to ask. And it's a question that I want you to begin putting in your arsenal. And I want you to ask each one of your external search partners before you give the search out this question. Ask them, do you have a hands off or off limits list? If you get the deer in the headlights look from a recruiter, it's because they've never been asked that before. I've been doing this 10 years. There are a lot of recruiters that have had a lot more sales meetings than I have and have, been in the business for 20 years, but I've never been asked that question. And so if you get the deer in the headlights look, that is why. They've never been asked that before. It's nothing that they drilled in their sales training, and so they're going to go, well, what do you mean exactly? And here's what you tell them. Well, so clearly, if we are on search agreement, if I sign an agreement with you, I'm hoping that outside of your integrity and outside of ethics and all of that, that you wouldn't come and try to pluck anyone from my team or anyone here at the company to serve one of your other clients. Am I correct in understanding? Like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's part of our contract, blah, blah, blah. You say, great. So, I need this particular type of position filled, and I'm looking to make sure that I have as many possible open avenues to find that candidate that I must have, that I've got to add to my team, that's going to help bolster my career trajectory. But if I sign on your firm and you've got a big hands-off list or you have a big off-limits list, then that gives me limitations in getting to my desired outcome. And so that may not work. And that's kind of how that conversation needs to go. Now, let's look at this just from a logical standpoint really quickly. As you know, because your phone's going to be ringing in about 15 minutes from another one, there are millions of recruiters, millions of firms, okay, tons. Some are big, some are small, some specialize, some don't, etc. If you sign on one of those very large firms, and by the way, I'm not throwing rocks at you guys that are in these big box firms, but we're just looking at this from a logical standpoint. The big box agencies, the big brand names, everything that they do from a sales perspective is about conquering the entire geography that they're in. They have to. If they don't, as salespeople, they are fired. Okay? So they want to be on a search agreement with as many people in their geography as possible. That's just how it works. And so a lot of these firms that are gigantic, massive, doing billions a year, it's highly probable that they are on search agreement with a good chunk of companies in your geo. And it's also possible, especially if they're a very popular company that's one of your competitors, it's probable that they might be on a search agreement with them. So if depending on whatever vertical you're in, if you have particular competitors that you would like to see if they've got people into, ask them, hey, are you on search agreement with XYZ Corporation? If they are, you can't give them that search because, well, maybe not just on that one, but you know what I mean. It starts to give you more knowledge, and it starts to give you more predictability in getting to your desired outcome when you know these things. Because here's the reality. When a recruiter is speaking with you, they're qualifying you and they're qualifying your company, and you need to take the same care and time as you would with a candidate to do the same with your search partner. So before you give that search out, ask them question number 2. Question number 2 is, do you have a hands-off list or do you have an off-limits list, and what does that look like for me in my geography, for me in my specialty, etc. And so if you have any further questions, feel free to drop them down below. Feel free to ping me directly. I'd love to continue the conversation and help you as much as I can, and I hope you have an awesome week.